Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's Pain Point webinar series. My name is Josh Lockheed, and I'm the training evangelist here at QuoteWerks. Our goal with the Pain Point webinar series is to dive into common business challenges that companies face when creating quotes and proposals. And today's topic is losing valuable time processing routine customer reorders. We here at QuoteWerks know your time is valuable, so the webinars are fairly short and we'll keep them under 30 minutes. And we want these things that we're going to be covering to be able to be applied right away. And we'll want to make these webinars as quick and easy as your quoting process is, or potentially will be if you start using QuoteWerks. With every webinar that we do, we go over a quick agenda, and we'll be covering the pain point that we just discussed, losing valuable time processing routine customer reorders. We'll then talk about the way in which QuoteWerks provides some solutions to that pain point. We'll then get into a live demo to show you how to implement those solutions within the QuoteWerks software, and we'll also leave some time at the end for some Q&A. Now, with that being said, we do have our GoToMeeting webinar software here that you can ask questions throughout the course of the webinar. There's a questions box there, so feel free to type in your questions as things are going on, and if for some reason I'm not able to get to a question, we can always circle back at the end. Now, if we do get to the end of the webinar and I haven't had a chance to address your question, I'm just going to ask that you shoot that question over to community@QuoteWerks.com. I monitor that mailbox and I'll be able to take a look and answer your question in a more thorough way than I would be on this webinar. Now, all of our webinars are recorded, and we'll send you a link to the recorded webinar within about 24 to 48 hours. And we'll go ahead and also load these up to our YouTube page, as well as our videos page on our website. I'll just mention, if you're not already subscribed, to go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube page. We're regularly putting out new material there. And then also we have all of our different social accounts as well. So feel free to follow us there. We always put out some good content that could be beneficial to you. So without further ado, we're going to dive into our pain point. As I've mentioned, the webinar today is around losing valuable time processing customer reorders. So let's kind of frame this here. The situation might be that your customer routinely reorders items for low dollar items, and it takes too much time to create a quote, send it out, call, email, and then process the order. So this could be things like toner, laptops, accessory, whatever else you might have that your customers are ordering on a regular basis. You may have a quote that you send over and over to the same or multiple customers. You may have a special promotion that you'd like to share with your customers, but you don't have a good way of closing the sale faster, and you don't want to have to create a special quote for each and every contact. You may also be able to offer items to customers to potentially, without having to even create a quote, using the order form that we'll be talking about. So, those are definitely some challenges that you could face when you are working with customer routine reorders. Now, what's the solution though? And really the solution that we're talking about today within the QuoteWerks software is QuoteValet. And QuoteValet is the online quote delivery and acceptance vehicle for QuoteWerks. What we're going to be talking about specifically is the QuoteValet Shopping Cart. And the Shopping Cart feature enables you to create online order forms for customers. You can create single or multiple order forms that can be used to automate customer reorders or receive paid orders from a promotional email blast. The shopping cart is actually included in the QuoteValet subscription. If you do have QuoteValet, this is available to you right away. If not, we do offer demos and trials. And if you're interested in testing it, you could always email sales@QuoteWerks.com, or as I mentioned again, the community@QuoteWerks.com is a great option for that as well. And the general concept behind, I should say, the QuoteValet shopping cart is that you can define an order form template that can be used over and over again, either by individual customers or multiple customers. And when the website visitor, the individual that received the links, completes the order form and clicks on the order button, the normal QuoteValet document will be created in the QuoteWerks system. As I mentioned, you can create a form for a specific customer, but you can also create a generic form that can be used by anyone that has access to the link. So a great option for individual customers or for a blanket quote that you can send to multiple customers. The QuoteValet shopping cart is also great for other uses, and you can use it however you wish. Some of the different ways that you can use the QuoteValet shopping cart include a customer reorder portal. So again, for those low dollar reorders, your customer may be able to have a special link that they can order them from at any time. And the link is actually unique to that specific customer. Another use case would be for special offer promotions. So on an order form, you can add and set expiration dates for limited time special offer discounts. So this could be for, let's say, a server or laptop or any product that's on sale and that you have an expiring time on that sale. And if you do this, you'll have orders waiting for you in the QuoteValet dashboard from those that are actually interested in the offer, because those are the ones that would actually execute the template or quote that's being sent to them. And then also using it as a website shopping cart. So in addition to having these different options for specific customers, you may want to have anonymous people browse a selection of products, and they can then use that shopping cart to execute an order. So if someone comes across your site, they can order those items directly from you, and it enables you also to create an online presence with a subset of the products that you sell as well. So based on all those different things, you can see that the QuoteValet Shopping Cart can certainly provide some benefit and help to resolve the pain point that we're discussing today. So the question becomes, how do we actually do these things? And we're going to move on to that live demo that I mentioned just a little bit ago. I'm going to just take a quick look at the questions box. Don't see any questions coming in yet. But again, if you do, feel free to pop them in there, even if during the demo, and I will be happy to answer them. So I am here in QuoteWerks Web. Now, what we're going to be doing today, again, is going to be in QuoteWerks Web. However, everything that we're doing is very, very similar, if not the same, in QuoteWerks Desktop. If anyone here is using desktop and we have some time at the end and you want to see these things on the desktop platform, just let me know, and we'll go ahead and do that. But the purpose of today's demo is what we want to do is we want to build a shopping cart from scratch and demonstrate some of the different options that you have when building that shopping cart. So we'll start with a new quote. And typically the first thing that we would be doing here is we would be adding a contact. But in this case, we're going to go ahead and leave that contact blank, because this may potentially be an order that many different people could potentially use in order, or a quote that many people could use to ultimately affect their order. So what we're going to do is we're actually just jump into adding products onto our quote. And the way we do that is we go to the products icon, and we could search Eagle-Eyes, we could search one of our connected databases here, but I happen to know that I have some favorites stored here that I want to use. And what we're going to do is we're actually going to simulate a promotion for a laptop. And what we'll do is we'll select our laptop here. So we've got our Lenovo laptop. We will click on it, and it is going to retrieve our real-time pricing from our vendors. And in just a moment, the real-time pricing and availability will pop up here for us, and we can make an informed decision as to which vendor to source this from. So just looking at this, it looks like D&H has stock and they have the lowest cost. So we'll go ahead and select D&H and add this to our quote. So we'll select/add. And this brings up the Add Item Assistant window. For those of you that aren't familiar with it, the Add Item Assistant window allows you to make certain changes to an item before adding it to the quote. In particular, you can adjust the quantities and the price modifier. And then if you've ever sold this product before, either for the specific customer you're quoting to or for any customer, it'll show you the history of what you've sold it for and ultimately if it was converted to an order. Now, I do want this to be added to my quote, and we have the under section here. If we were to just hit add or insert, it would respectively add or insert those into the quote. But I want to add these under a new heading, and we're going to name this products. And we'll hit add, and this will get added to that heading. Now, I do want to give the customer the option to choose between two different laptops. I happen to have these two as different options for the customer. Some minor differences between the two, but the one that we're adding now is going to be the one that we prefer. Now, this one, again, gives us all the pricing and availability. It looks like we have some on order at our distributor at Ingram Micro, and it is at the lowest cost. So I'm going to go ahead and select that. And as we did with the other item, we can adjust all of the different things here in the Add Item Assistant. I'm going to go ahead and pop this under our product section again. So we're going to hit Add, and that gets added to our product section. Now, in addition to the products, I do want to add some accessories. Again, I could go into my product databases and search for them specifically, but I happen to know that I want to include this mouse as well as this case. So we're just, again, going out and getting our availability from our vendor. It looks like Ingram Micro has stock and the best price. And we're going to go ahead and add this under a different heading called accessories. Would help if I knew how to spell. All right, so we now have our mouse under our accessories, and we're just going to add one more item here, and that's going to be our case. Ingram Micro seems to have the best price and the best availability, so we're going to go ahead and add that into our quote as well. Now notice that when I hit add, I didn't actually add it to a heading, but that's fine because when you hit add, it adds it to the end of the quote. So you can see here we've got our products, we've got our accessories, so the quote is all set up for us now. Next step here would be to adjust how we want the customer to be able to interact with the quote, and we can do that utilizing line attributes. So what we're going to do here is we actually want to make all of these to be optional, meaning the customer can select or deselect them. We also want to give the customer the ability to change the quantity that they wish to order as well. And the way that we do that is we're going to go ahead and select each of our line items while holding the control key. We're going to right click, hit edit line attributes, and there's a couple things we want to adjust on this page. The first thing we want to do is we want to make them optional. So we'll hit yes for is optional. We don't necessarily want to have them all selected, so I'm going to leave is selected blank. And we don't want to include these in an exclusive group. An exclusive group would mean they would have to make a selection of one, even though there may be multiple selections available. We want them to be able to select as many as they'd like. So if they want to order those 2 laptops, they can certainly do so. If they want to order both of those accessories, they can do so as well. So now that we've got everything set up as is optional, the next thing we want to do is make it so that customers can adjust the quantity on the quote, and we do that by adjusting our allow QV quantity change line here, and we're going to set this to yes. So again, that's going to allow the customer to change the quantity of any of these different items that they wish to order. Now, before we actually were to go and send this out to the customer, we'd want to go ahead to the Sale Info tab and make sure that anything that we have set here is set appropriately. We could set our payment options, we can set our terms, and one that would be particularly important, especially if you're doing a promotion, would be the expiration date. We'll go ahead and leave this for 1 month out, but let's say you had a promotion that was ending in just a week. You'd easily set this out for a week expiration and just let the customer know when you're presenting it to them. Although it will say it on the quote, just reiterate the fact that the quote is available or valid for just that period of time, whatever it may be. So now that we have everything set up, we've got our quote, we've got our document items, we've got our optional and quantity change set up, and we've also got our expiration date. The next step would be to save this, and we can do that by going to File. And then this is where the order form comes into play. If we were saving this as a normal quote, we would just go up and hit the Save icon. What we want to do now is we want to save it as a template. So we're going to click on Save as Template, and you'll see that we're able to give it a name. I'm just going to name this QV Demo so that I know what it is. And we're going to save this as a QuoteValet order form. Now, note that you do have the ability to create multiple different order form templates if you'd like. This is a bit beyond the scope of this particular presentation, but just know that if you're familiar with working with QuoteValet or even our printed templates or layouts, you have the ability to go in and adjust those and make it look however way you want by making adjustments to the standard layouts. I've got one here, but again, if you wanted, you could create new layouts and you could use them here, and that's done under the QuoteValet settings. So I'm going to go ahead and hit OK, because I want to go ahead and save this as document template. And then a couple things are going to pop up here for us. The first one is, who do we want to receive notifications when someone actually places an order with this template? Now I'm logged in as the administrator and I use the administrator account. So we're going to use administrator as our individual that's going to get that. And then here we are at the order form template window. You can see that it indicates that the template's been saved to QuoteValet. And we have a link here, which is the link that is to our specific order form. Now, just an important thing to mention, this is the link that you're going to want to share with your customers. You want to make sure that it's this link and that you're not going in and copying the URL from that link. So don't go in and copy this link. If you're going to share it with your customers, you want to use this link. And the reason for that is every single customer has a unique URL that allows you to then kind of use some forensics to go back and figure out, at least the QuoteWerks system is able to go back and figure out who is that customer and then associate them with the account in QuoteWerks. All right, so here we are on our QuoteValet order form webpage. You can see that there are our products here. You can see there's also checkboxes next to each of those products. And that means that we can select or deselect the options that we want, or I should say the customer can. And you can see we can also adjust quantities as well. So let's say the customer wanted to order 5 of these. We just need to go ahead, select that, and update the quantity. And you'll see the pricing here updates as well. Now, if the customer wanted to actually move forward and place the order, all they'd have to do is input their information. Now, again, this is a default order form, one that does not have a customer associated with it. So this gives the opportunity for really anybody to go in here, fill out the information, and then ultimately place the order as well. And after they place the order, they'll be given the option, if you set it up, for them to be able to pay via credit card directly via QuoteValet. Now, I do also want to just point out that across the top here, there are a couple different search functions for this page. If you used a drop down here, you'd be able to toggle between the different headings in the document. And then if there's something you wanted to find on the document, it's particularly useful if there's a large document with a lot of things on it. You can search for a particular key phrase. For example, let's say you wanted to just find all of the managed services that are included on the document. You could put in managed services. In this case, I put in mouse. We can do the same with laptop. Just different functions that we have to be able to go through and search the document and find things. Again, particularly useful if it's a very long quote. All right, so again, this is a order form that does not have a customer associated with it, but we could just as easily create an order form with a specific customer. So I'm going to go ahead and hit OK and X out of there. And what we're going to do is we're going to go into our sold to, shipped to, and we're going to add a customer. Now, I currently have this connected to Zoho CRM, but you could have it connected to any CRM or PSA that QuoteWerks supports, or you could utilize the internal QuoteWerks CRM, or I should say contact manager. I'm going to go ahead and search for ABC. I know I have an account ABC Computers that I want to quote here. We'll select that and hit sold to, adds them into sold to. And that's important to mention is that this sold to contact is the one that's going to be included on the order form for us. So it's important that we have that filled out. So if we were to go ahead and resave this as a template, actually bear with me for one moment. Looks like we're not able to resave it as a template because we already made some changes to it. We had to go to the save button instead. So we're going to go ahead and hit OK and make the selections as we did before. And now if we go and we click on this link, you'll see that our customer's information is already filled out for us. So really that just shows you the difference between if you were creating a kind of custom quote for a customer versus what we did before, which is where we created a blanket quote that can be sent out to anyone, and that individual, the user that wants to place the order, would just have to fill out their information. So a couple different ways you can do that. And now what I want to do is I want to make an example of another quote. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to X out of this particular quote and hop into a new quote. And we're going to make this specific to a customer. Since we have ABC here already, we'll go ahead and include them. And we're going to use the example here now of there being a promotion that we want to push to our customers. So we can put this special as our header. And then let's say we wanted to add a particular product that was on special. We could go ahead and find that product either via our product databases or Edelweiss. I'm just going to go ahead and put this product in there. And you can see we now have our Cisco Catalyst switch here. Now, let's say that this particular order, we're offering a 20% discount for this month. We could come in and add what we call a discount line and just put in 20% as our discount. And you'll see that it shows that discount there directly on the quote. So this is a good way for you to highlight the fact that you're providing a discount on a particular item. Now, I know I said this is going to be open for a month, but just to demonstrate how we can use expiration dates, let's simulate that this is going to be available for a 1-week promo only. We're going to go ahead and put our expiration date just 1 week out. So now that we have our customer, we have our product in there, we'll go ahead and save as template once again. And we'll call this our summer special. And again, we want to select save template as QuoteValet order form. We'll make administrator the selected user. And we have our link here yet again. So we'll go ahead and copy and paste that into our browser. Again, this is the link we want to use. We do not want to use the link that we have up here. And you'll see that we now have our quote. It's for our switch. It shows a 20% discount. And it also shows our customer's information here as well. Now, what we would want to do here is likely deliver this via email. So what we can do is we can go to the deliver window and we can choose our template or layout, and we can choose to email this to our customer. Now you can send this as we have here to a specific customer, or you can send it to multiple customers. And if you want to send it to multiple customers, all you have to do is put in the to field whoever you want to send it. Likewise, you can send this link out via your regular email as well, whatever the case makes sense for you. So here you would just type out our message, you would pop in that link, and then the customer, whoever you send it out to, again, if they click this link, would be brought to the order form. Now in this case, again, this is a customer specific link. If you were doing that, you would want to use one that was not specific to the customer. Now, what we're going to do here is we're going to simulate this particular customer. Again, we've got ABC Computers, Larry Tabor, going in and actually executing a quote. Now, I'm just taking a quick look here at a question that came in. Question from Russ: can we somehow utilize the optional items dialog box to prompt the user using the template? Russ, there are ways that we can do that, and it's actually interesting that you mention it, because there's a function or feature that we just introduced that can prompt users on pretty much any event in the QuoteWerks system, and that's the QuoteWerks Web Scripting Manager. This is within the quote creation. Now, if you're talking about here on this page, we could certainly do that as well. It'd just be done in a different way via the QuoteValet template. So maybe if I didn't answer your question there, Russ, send me an email, community@quoteworks.com, because I think there's maybe some additional intricacies we'd want to understand just to make sure I answer that correctly. But that's my take on it, right, is there are ways that we can create dialog boxes within the software, and there's going to be ways that we can prompt users here on the page, just different ways that we're going to accomplish those, with the prompts within the software being done via the QuoteWerks Web Scripting Manager, and our prompts here in the web page being for our being through our QuoteValet template. So two different ways that we can approach that, and there's different ways that we can do that. And again, if you want more clarification, just let me know. So I'm going to go ahead and simulate that this is being placed, the order is being placed, and we're going to go ahead and put in Larry's signature, and we're going to click on place order. So if Larry wanted to right now, he could click on make a payment, and it actually go through and he could make a payment using the payment methods that we set up previously. Or he could certainly not make a payment and, let's say, go through PO if that's something that you offer. And what we would want to do now that Larry's accepted the quote is we'd want to go in and import it into the system. So we're going to go over into the QuoteValet dashboard. And here we can see that the order form has been submitted. And one thing to mention here is any of our normal quotes are going to use our normal naming convention, like you'll see here, JBLQ. The QuoteValet order forms are going to come in as QVAQ. So just a naming convention consideration. When they do get submitted, you want to come in and import them, determine who you want the assigned sales rep to be, and then it is going to open for us here. So bear with me for 1 second. Go back to QuoteValet dashboard. And here is our QVAQ quote. Now that the customer has accepted the payment or accepted the quote itself, hasn't made a payment yet, we can come in and look at the QuoteValet page here. It's going to prompt us to also put through the order and convert it from a quote. So I'm going to go ahead and just select our payment option. And it's, again, as I said, having us convert this to an order. And you'll see now that we have an order created from this. Now, that being said, when the order is converted, we're being prompted to update our opportunity or deal in our CRM or PSA. In this case, it's Zoho. And I'll go ahead and hit OK. And that's an example of how you would import and move your quote from a quote into an order. And one other thing I want to just show you is if you did want to manage your templates, all you need to do is come into Open and then click on the Templates tab. And then you'll see your different order forms along here with your quotes. I should say your quote templates. So you'll see that we've got some quote templates here, the one that we just created, and then others here are just going to be other quote templates that are not associated with an order form. But this is where you would go to actually go in and work with them. So that is a good overview of the QuoteValet order form. With that being said, there are other resources that you have available to you if you want to learn more. The one that I think would be best if you're looking to learn more about order forms specifically are going to be the help documentation, but we also have videos as well on our website that would walk you through how to do these things. I do also want to mention that if you do not currently have access to QuoteValet, but want to test out either just QuoteValet in general or this shopping cart functionality, let us know, sales@QuoteWerks.com or community@QuoteWerks.com. We'd be happy to set you up with a trial. And then there's a number of other resources you have available to you. We've got the webinars, we've got our services that we offer, and beyond anything else, the team here is really on point. So if at any point you have any questions, you're not able to get what you need immediately, give our support team a call or email them, and they're happy to help. I can't stress that enough. We've got a great team here that is happy to help with anything that you might want. Now, again, just a reminder, the webinar is recorded, so I'll be sending it out within 24 to 48 hours. Excuse me. And I haven't seen any additional questions come in. So with that being said, I'll go ahead and end the webinar for today as we're right at the half of the hour. But again, if you have any additional questions, feel free to send them over to community@QuoteWerks.com. And I appreciate you for joining. Have a great day, and we'll talk to you soon.